It's a dream come true. When you look at it and you can say, wow, see, when I held the first copy in my hand, tears came to my eyes. And I just keep saying, was this really me?
Hi, I'm Henika Watkins Porter, speaker, coach, author of Podcast Power, inviting you to listen to the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, brought to you by C. Ruth Taylor, best-selling indie author and the Caribbean's most trusted voice on entrepreneurship. Get ready to dominate entrepreneurship.
Do you have a burning testimony or inspirational story that's worth publishing? Perhaps the cost of publishing has prevented you from sharing it. But now is your opportunity to publish your story without breaking the bank through BambuSparks' Pages of Hope Rapid Release Spark. In just 14 days, you can get your story published. Submit your testimony in 2 to 3 pages or in 800 to 1,000 words to get featured in our Pages of Hope testimonial notebook and journal. Ideal for Christians, entrepreneurs, coaches, nonprofits, or anyone with an inspiring story of achieving success despite the odds. Submit your testimonies between February 1 to 28. Successful applicants will be announced in March with publication in April. Publishing fee, US $500. Conditions apply. Complete the application form at www.bambusparks.com/publishing deals and email submissions to admin@bambusparks.com.
Today I have with me Andrene Tyrell, a joyful and creative soul with a passion for the visual and performing arts. Through her work, she desires to encourage young readers, offering them stories that entertain while planting seeds of inspiration and hope for the future. In 2025, Andrene published her debut book, a children's book, Bushy, the Busy Forest Rabbit and Friends. It became an Amazon bestseller, and today she's here to talk with us about this book and the lessons we can learn from it. Welcome to the show, Andrene.
Thank you very much, Miss Taylor.
All right, so let's talk. What's the story behind this book, Bushy, the Busy Forest Rabbit and Friends?
First of all, my book is about a community of animals who lives together in a forest and shares a very friendly relationship with each other. And I wrote this book just to put forth a little of my imagination out there and something that others can enjoy also with lessons to learn.
All right, so in a previous conversation, you talked about being on the writing journey for quite a while. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How long did it take to produce this book so that perhaps somebody out there who's thinking of publishing their book can be encouraged? What's the story behind the making of this book?
This book, I remember I was sitting down in a room and I was looking at a book and the picture of a rabbit farming was on it, and right there and then some ideas started popping in my mind and I get down to writing. And this book last year was 20 years since I was working on this book. I wrote it and I have it sitting down there. So I would like to encourage anyone out there who have your dreams not to give up on it, because I had a little doubt and suddenly I get the urge to just push past that fear and to go on and to bring forth the book. So and at times we have the ideas, but we don't have the resources. So we have to just identify what it is that we need and work towards it and trust in God and ask of His help, and He will direct us.
Sound words indeed. Now, I look on the book and I know that it was illustrated by you. So this is your first illustrated book. How do you feel about that?
I am feeling fulfilled, and this book is a dream come true for me. And many times when I look at it, I just keep saying, wow, and is this really me? So it's the passion is inside and then putting it forward, bringing it out. And when you look at it and you can say, wow, see, when I held the first copy in my hand, tears came to my eyes. And I just keep saying, was this really me? It's a dream come true.
I know how that feels, holding the book in your hand for the first time. There's always something special about it. And the scripture tells us that a dream fulfilled is like a tree of life, right? So
Yes.
that's what happened to you. And now that the book is out, what's been happening in terms of sales and interacting with others?
For persons who already purchased and have read, some of them came to me willingly and said the book was good, and I asked some of them if they enjoyed it, and they said yes, it's a nice story. Only regret it should be longer, because just as they were delving in it and enjoying it, just finished. It's a nice little read, so I've been getting good response.
And it is good. What is the big story or the big theme or message? What's the big message in this book? Bushy the Busy Forest Rabbit and Friends. What's the big message in this book?
Okay, first, my book, Bushy, the Busy Forest Rabbit and Friends. It is for age 6 to 10, but I believe there's a message in it for adults. As it is written in the book, the time that you spent with others, it is important. So your time is the most precious gift that you can give to others. So we have Bushy, who is the main character, and he lives with his little brothers. And Bushy was such a busy person. Each morning he gets up and he just goes to his garden and work, work, work. And part of him going to his garden and work, work, work was to hide away from his feelings. He was actually feeling responsible for something that he did not have control over. So he was kind of using his garden as a hideaway also. And so he came across as being selfish, but until they learned the real reason of him hiding so much in his garden. And then he had a turning point where he realized that he was missing out on a lot when he saw how his brothers were happy to see their friends again after the rainy season when they had to be away from each other for a period of time. And when the rain was finally over and he saw how they were excited and they ran from the house to go meet their friends, that's when he started thinking, when was the last time I had fun? And he did some thinking, and that was when he turned around.
Awesome sauce. So this is not just a message for children. This is a very adult message
Adult
because
message.
a lot of us, we don't make time for fun. And some
No.
of us, we are workaholics. And so we use the work to numb pain, or to work is sometimes the escape. And so
Yes.
the message in this is that spending quality time with others matter. And we need to have a more balanced life. Time for work, time for fun, time for family. I love it. What are some of if you could identify some lessons from Bushy for the readers, what would be some of those lessons?
I would say take time out to understand each other before judging. That little scene when Bushy was there, when because they each time his friends came to him and said, Bushy, will you go with me? Will you play with me? And Bushy keeps saying, no, no, no. He came across as being self-centered and even antisocial. But deep down, he was struggling with something. So before we go ahead and judge each other based off their action, let us try to understand the reason for the action. Another lesson that we can also learn from Bushy is don't blame yourself for things you don't have control over. Because when Bushy friend got injured, because he loved his friend so much and he wasn't able to help to prevent the accident. He felt so responsible. Maybe he was saying if he wasn't coming with me, this wouldn't happen and all of that. So there are times when things happen around us to persons who are so important and special to us. And because we weren't able to prevent it, we take the blame for it. So we should not blame ourselves for things that we are not in control of. And another lesson from Bushy, we should also prioritize and make time for others. Bushy's garden was important to him, and his friends were also important. So you have to know how to balance it out so that everybody get their full attention. Because if he neglect his garden, something is going to happen, and if he neglect his family and his friends, something is going to happen also. So we have to learn how to prioritize and make time and space for just about everything to have a balance. And we should also take criticism and uplift ourselves because Bushy was being criticized for being lazy when he stopped to rest and he fell asleep. His friends criticized him that he was being lazy and he jumped right up and said, I am not lazy. They even criticized him that he's boring because when they want him to come and have fun and he said no, he's going to his garden, they criticize him for being boring. So we can take criticism and whatnot, make them constructive and see how we can improve ourselves. And also, kindness comes from the heart, and we should always do kind things for others. And we see how when Bushy had the turnaround and he saw how much he missed out with his friends and his family, and he decided to unite everyone and he held that big party as an act of kindness, and he baked that carrot pie as a special thing for them and everyone enjoyed it. So kindness comes from the heart, and it's not always the big things that you do for others that will make them happy. Many times it's just some simple little things that will make them happy, act of kindness. And one main message also, our lesson, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And we
Yeah.
saw how Bushy got grumpy over time because he was just working and no fun and he got really grumpy. But I'm glad Bushy got a hold of himself. Many of us can attest to that today because we are in a time now where it is just work, and we have time for nothing else, and we start to get so squeezy and grumpy.
I love it. That's why I say it is a kid's book with an adult message. And that's brilliant because, even in the AI age, we find that when they put these adult scenes from movies and so on, use a child, it attracts and gets your attention. So your ability to code these lessons in a children's story is just brilliant. And so I want to say congratulations. I love it because as I read it, it's challenging me. Remember these lessons. And I think this will be a hit. That's it for today. Just reminding you that of the making of books, there is no end. Go pen it to win it and dominate authorpreneurship. Ta for now, until next time.